Welcome back to the Frith Guild podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm co-host, Scott.
And today we'll be going over chapters 11 through 15 of Academy Arcanist. And with that, before we get into today's episode, I always like to remind everybody, like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, along with the Frith Chronicles Wiki link down below and the Capital Station Discord server. So if you would like to go in and join some conversations over there, a lot of fun questions that get asked, and there's a lot of like, oh, what do you think? A lot of hypotheticals, so it's that difficult to really have a solid answer or say one way or the other, but I like the way that people think and kind of defend their answer, so it's all in good fun. Nobody gets upset or anything. And with that, though, we will get into chapter 11 today.
Chapter 11 is Bad Omen. They go to the Menagerie, and as soon as they show up, Piper realizes they forgot 4 kids. So she's like, I'll be back real quick. It's not a huge issue from a time perspective because she is teleporting, so she comes back with them almost instantly. But it is the most like hungover moment of her being like, oh, this isn't enough kids.
Wait a minute, 1, 2, 3. How many were there again?
And I can only imagine if you're one of the kids that gets forgotten, you're just sitting there like, did I just fail my trial of worth?
Crap, am I not allowed in now?
Pretty much, that's how it probably feels. So, they do get the rundown, and essentially they have until midnight. There are a variety of creatures in kind of makeshift environments throughout the Menagerie. They'll go through and be able to attempt trials of worth. If they pass, they get to bond. They do. The Piper's staying around. She like hints at the fact that she's like, I can't really tell you this, but I'm here if you need me. I can't help if you have trouble with the trial of worth, but if something goes awry for whatever reason, just come back here and find me. I'll probably be drinking, but we'll be good to go. You know she's got a flask.
But at least she's honest.
She is. She's very honest about it. Gray and Soren go off, and the first mystical creature they come across is a kitsune, and they specialize in illusion magic, so they are able to create illusions. Gray's only real concern is like, can I use this in a dream? And the kitsune's like, no, why do you care about that? And Gray's like, well, if I can't use it in a dream, then I don't want to bond. So he decides that the kitsune is not for him, and he's not even going to attempt the trial of worth. They continue to make their way through the Menagerie, and they come across a Reaper.
And with Chapter 12, Many Trials of Worth, we happen to come across a black Pegasus. And remember, the Pegasus are based off of different types of birds, so the black ones being off of ravens. So they have raven-like feathers. Soren is very adamant about going back to see the Reaper that they saw floating by. Gray is very much so do you have dream magic or not? Because if you don't, then I don't want nothing to do with you, and I'll see y'all later. And this is very off-putting for the Pegasus. Like, this poor thing is just... He's peacocking. Like, literally peacocking, trying to, like, look at me, I am such a great Eldrin to bond to. Try my trial of worth, please. And Grace, no, I'm good. I don't need anything from you, so... thankfully, the Pegasus does see other students or other kids walking around, or I guess these are adults, actually. The other adults walking around, and they're like, okay, let me go tell them about my trial worth. We stumble into a wild Twain, and he appears and is the most adorable little kitty ever. Now, Twain does not want to bond with him or anybody else, essentially. And again, Gray's probably not very... I don't think Gray recognizes what Twain is yet. So he probably doesn't know the magics that it could possibly have. While we're talking to Twain, Waste appears, the Reaper that we saw earlier. And Waste is actually wanting to bond with Soren because Soren has already passed his trial of worth. And the Waste actually mentions that as long as you passed one Reaper's trial of worth, then you passed all of them and forever. The trial of worth is You must kill a blood relative. I'm totally getting some like Lord Voldemort vibes from Wace here, wanting to grow powerful together, and like the more we kill, the stronger we get. Like, well, I know this is like your thing, okay?
Like, you do death, right? That's your thing.
I get it. It's just you could pitch it a little bit differently here. As we're leaving, one of the creepy puppets are in the menagerie and are basically after attacking Gray.
Chapter 13 is a puppet. We go to run away and trip on the little kitten that we are so smitten with. So their hope is to try and find Piper, but the environment is changing. It is very dreamlike, where things just kind of switch and there's no real reason or way of knowing, so nobody's there. The puppet does rush them, ends up slicing Soren. Gray is talking with Twain and figures out that, like, oh, he can transform into other nearby mystical creatures, and Gray's thought is, well, Professor Helmut must be nearby. Can you transform into a whelk? So Gray transforms into a whelk. And that brings us to chapter 14.
Chapter 14 is becoming an Arcanist. And Gray is fighting off this creepy puppet on his own. Twain ends up creating this like water serpent to attack the puppet. And again, like going back to the Harry Potter reference here. Not being fire, but it's still pretty freaking awesome. Twain makes a proclamation of not being defeated, and he ends up transforming back into a mimic, unfortunately. Gray does get a solid hit in on the Arcanist. Before Twain transforms back into his mimic form, he's able to wake everybody up from this dream as they realize that they're in. And once they wake up, Gray is able to get a really solid hit in on the Arcanist that was attacking them. But unfortunately, like, she got away, and then all of a sudden Piper and Reeve comes and ends up scaring off the attacker. And then Gray fades to black. But I'm so sorry.
You had to do it, though. It just fits.
Right. Like, it's just the name, pun, everything. So I promise I'll try not to do that very often, but Gray ends up waking up and finds a potato on his chest. And that potato ends up being Twain, and that Twain never bonded because he didn't know what his trial of worth was. And basically talks about how all these other mystical creatures, they, in their heart and their soul, they know exactly what they wanted to do for their trial of worth. Pretty much standard across the board for all the mystical creatures in that group. Just like with Waste, he knows exactly what it is to bond with. Twain ends up choosing Gray, and I like how Twain is the one that decides that, not Gray. Like, Gray doesn't convince him. Gray's probably like completely unsure of what's happening, but hey, Twain's pretty cute. Why would you want a little Sphinx kid? Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Facing it.
Oh my god. Like, you have Zelfrey, who has a full-grown mimic in the Frith Chronicles. So now you get this little baby mimic, and I can't stop. So, sorry. Not sorry. Anyways. Twain makes a comment about dragons and how they must be a bunch of tryhards with their trials of worth. And I'm just going to say that Twain is so epic that his trial of worth is secret. And that's what they're going to tell everybody. Like, it's so mind-blowing and difficult that it's just secret to everybody. And realistically, he's not very far off from that.
Yeah, it really is. And we know from the other books that Twain doesn't know his trial of worth because mimics don't conduct their own trial of worth. So he's kind of in this weird situation where he's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, so it must have been super cool. So if he's got an ego and a half, I think he makes Zaxxas look a little humble. We do get to chapter 15, Healing Up. So there is an old man and a stag. They enter we find out that this is the doctor. Stags are known as healing creatures, and we do actually get some cool information that stags are one of the few creatures that actually prefer to bond with older humans. So typically they look for somebody who's more wise in their years, and this is not common. Most people who bond very young, either in their teens or their early 20s. So this is unusual, but cool that we kind of have these older Arcanists, since Arcanists don't age the same way that normal humans do. There was an investigation into the Menagerie, so they do think that Piper killed the enemy Arcanist, but the scars that were left on Gray's body, they won't heal, which is very surprising because stags are supposed to be able to heal recent injuries. Gray is really adamant about trying to find Soren. He's kind of worried because there's a chance Soren didn't bond with anyone, so Soren might not actually have made it into the academy, but Doc Thomas uses his little calming magic on him, ends up kind of almost putting him to sleep, and there's this moment where Twain, in his like falling into lullaby, just kind of pops into a stag for a moment and then pops back out.
How terrible would that have been if he accidentally like got his antlers around Gray and got like crap. Didn't mean for that to happen.
Just accidentally killed my Arcanist. Oops.
When with the scars not fully healing, I wonder if this is because it's like it was obviously a physical damage but it was in a dream, so it was caused by magic. So is it because it was a magic scar, like a magical wound, versus a physical wound? Like
it's tough,
or like magic causing it.
Yeah, it's tough to tell because I mean, we've seen other magical injuries get healed. It wasn't a stag that was healing, but the fact that like the doctor's surprised that he can't heal, like I assume most of the injuries that happen at the academy are probably magical based, rather than a kid just like falling down the stairs, which I guess could happen, but I feel like it's more likely in like the training classes they hurt each other. So it's hard to tell what it is, if it's just like some sort of mutated magic or something else, but there's something odd about it that it won't heal.
And I think this is the first time we've ever seen like I think this is a golden heart, if I'm not mistaken.
Golden stag, yeah.
Golden stag. So it's essentially like a cousin to the white heart, and this is the first time that we get to see a stag of some sort in relation to the white heart that doesn't want to try to kill us.
Always a good thing.
Yeah.
Actually trying to help us.
Right, like a healing, like shoot. We didn't get stabbed or attempted to be stabbed or had the plague or whatever else is going on. So I feel like this is a solid introduction to this breed or this type of creature. And with that, we end this week's 5 chapters. The stag is literally like 3 sentences of what they say to describe Doc Thomas.
Yeah, that's all it is. Very little information on it.
So unfortunately, like we don't have a lot of information, any more information, unless it happens to be in the bestiary. It's coming out. Hopefully, it's out by this point. But
cough, cough,
you did
wink,
get to see the
wink.
kitsune.
Nudge, nudge.
Now, I always in the audiobook they said kitsune. Is it? I hate splitting hairs like this.
I don't. It's probably kitsune. Like that would fit better, but I don't know. I just read it as kitsune, but I've been known to horribly pronounce things in my head when I read them, so I wouldn't take my reading of this to be accurate. I'm seeing if because I thought some of the like if it's based on a real creature, I wonder if there's a pronunciation for it. So it is. Go ahead.
ChatGPT says kitsune. Keeetsuneh.
There you go, kitsune. The more you know.
But again, like this is. I listened to the audiobooks for this book and for Mimic Arcanist. So the voices that I read, well, like once the books come out, because there's no way in hell I'm going to wait for an audiobook to come out to read these books. It's just not happening.
I don't have 6 months.
No. So anytime the new books come out, I read it as soon as it comes out, and that's like the voices that the voice actor does are the voices that I have in my mind, and the pronunciations and such. Did you want to do the kitsune?
Yeah, I'll go through it. So for the kitsune, they are described as a red fox with fake embers that move around when it moves. They do not leave tracks, which is kind of cool, and they do grow more and more tails, so I just picture them turning into kind of like Ninetales from Pokemon. I imagine there's some similar folklore there. But their trial of worth is to display cleverness, so they often hold competitions and ask trick questions, and if you get a question wrong, you're eliminated until there's one left standing. They are tier 3 with a fable reproduction, so they're born from a human woman alongside a human baby. A little creepy, but this only happens when the woman carries a child from a father that she doesn't know, and that was conceived on the night of a full moon. Their evocation is...
They're specific, but...
It is very specific.
Well, yeah, dang.
Multiple criteria on that one. So their evocation is foxfire, so they evoke flames that turn into temporary physical objects, so things like coins, pens, bags, etc., and these disappear once the evocation ends. They are illusions, but you can feel them, so they have some more substance to them than just visual illusions. They are able to manipulate perception, so when they touch somebody, they can make them distrust them, or believe that objects are real, fake, such and such. And then they are able to augment themselves, so they become pure of intrusive magic, so they no longer affected by mood altering, mind control, compulsions, or anything else that might be enacted upon them. For imbuing, they do have temporary objects, so they make magical items that change forms or function, and they're often used as a base object because it's believed to be good luck. The Arcanists do have the innate ability to see through illusions and have a heightened sense of smell. A little odd, but okay. And they can sense the tier of mystical creatures that they can see. When they
pretty
gain their
solid ability right there.
It is cool. Because the tiers, like, I don't know how they appear. Like, I just picture a little, like, oh, got a little 2 above your head. You're a tier 2 creature.
So I was thinking too.
Their true form appearance, they have white fur, blue eyes, black paws, and 10 beautiful tails. They also have, there's kind of 2 different, and I don't know if this is male, female, but Zenko and Yako. So the Yako kitsune has golden fur, 4 black eyes, red paws, and 9 tails. Their true form type, so they embody either the Zenko or the Yako that was mentioned earlier. So the Zenko is the wisdom of benevolence, well-being, and caring, and Yako is to embrace selfishness and mischief. So depending on the virtue that they take, the actual true form is slightly different. The Zenko form gain omniscience. So I'll sound that one out there. So they're able to concentrate in an area that they've been and see what's happening there. The Yako gain the true form ability of trickery, so they're able to transform into the shape of a human. Their Arcanist mark vanishes, but they do retain all their magic. They are thought to be considered Eldrin of criminals, mostly because of their fatal burst. They were often associated with prostitutes, so they were often chased for the cities, but people eventually became more and more aware, understood the differences between the Zenko and the Yako kitsune, and they do come from real-world inspiration of spirit foxes, where these foxes take the form of women to fool humans.
And I actually looked up the kitsune. It made me think of the Keaton from Legend of Zelda series. It's actually says that the Keaton was taking inspiration from the Kitsune as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So not only Ninetales from the Pokemon series, but we have Kitsune or the Keaton as well from the Legend of Zelda series. So
that is very cool.
I love it. And with that, we will end this week's episode. Next week, we'll be going over chapters 16 through 20. And with the... Can you hear them or no?
You got a whole pack there.
Yes. Usually one sets them off, like one will set the other ones off. And it'll be just the one just looking out the window and be like... Rrr, and then the rest of them will just lose it.
Yeah.
Come on.
It just feels like popcorn going off. Like it slowly starts to die down and you hear like one, and then a couple random ones come after. Like.
And with that ends this week's episode of 11 through 15. Next week we'll be doing 16 through 20, with there being 43 chapters.
I think so.
I know you said it earlier. I'm sorry.
I said 43, but that could be wrong. I could have just like pulled that from the meaning of life.
I mean, solid.
It was close enough. I had to take it.
With that, we are going to, because there's an uneven amount of chapters, or at least divisible by 5, we are going to do the last few chapters on its own with a little bit of an extra look into the bestiary. I don't remember if this book has the bloopers at the end of it, but if it does, we'll definitely touch it.
I think it does. I hope so.
Oh, it's so exciting, because we'll definitely make a mention of, oh, yes, it does. Like 99.9% sure that it does. So we will definitely go into the blooper section as well, because I freaking loved them.
They're so funny.
Anyway. Especially further on in the series. So, but with that, we will end this week's episode, and we'll catch you all next week.